And is there, I mean, I find a lot of times sort of looking at, whether it's doing a digital review and sort of checking in with a team, like understanding and this is the conversation with a lot of the US sports teams that are doing a lot in local market, and now they're looking at global markets and internationally, whether it be Australia or Europe and those kind of things. And that battle of, well, how do we better engage locally? And, from my discussion with both yourself and Steve, like it's a real focus for you to, make sure if someone's in the Gold Coast, lives near the Gold Coast, becomes into that Titans family, and that's more of a focus for you than getting fans all across Australia, because at the first point, it's let's get people into the stadium, let's fill the stadium, let's build that community.
Yeah, I think the Gold Coast is a unique city in itself. Is so many people, this isn't where they grew up, this is their second home. So they come to the Gold Coast potentially from an AFL state or with an existing team. So I had a content shoot recently with our captain, Tino Fasuamala-Awi, and he expressed the frustration he gets when someone says to him, "Oh, you're my second team. Love you guys as my second team." And he said he almost doesn't want to talk to them afterwards, to be honest, because no one wants to be the second team. Everyone wants to be first. And it's such a challenge in this market. A, getting people moving who have already got existing passions, but B, we're only sort of 17 years old. So most people who are fans of the sport had a team before we came in. We've now had 2 players debut who grew up as truly Titans fans, which is a low number for many people, but you can understand because we didn't exist when a lot of the guys that are there now first chose their team. So we're at a really key moment in our journey. I think that those kids who have only ever known the Titans are now young adults, 18 to 25 years old. And this is our chance where we can capture them for life. This is our moment to really grab onto that and build that core fan base, because the Gold Coast is evolving and growing and getting more second generation, families living on the coast who can be attached to the Titans. And so I think that's absolutely key for us. It comes with benefits because, we can target away teams and things like that from a marketing mix point of view, but ultimately we want our stadium filled with, our colours, our fans as much as possible. And it's a real challenge here to bring people along that journey to say, hey, this is my number one team.
But one, you're right. You're in that inflection point of in your history and having those young fans come on. But also we're moving through this era that sports consumption is changing and people are following either players or they're following multiple teams. People are, older, and it is sacrilege to say, hey, I have a second team. And yeah, you should be offended that's the second team. But now we are having people going, oh, someone might be a Storm fan, but they've now moved to the Gold Coast. And if they go to every Titans game and they're like, well, the Storm only comes once a year, so I'll be a Storm fan for once a year, but eventually you'll sort of wear them down and they'll be cheering for the Titans, 85% of the time because they're local and it's the only way they can, watch the game they like. So there is that balance. But, I think there also is that option that the younger fans coming up will have multiple teams in market, but then also, they've got an NFL team and they're following 2 NBA players. So they're following 2 teams in the NBA and a couple in the Premier League. So the days of here's my 4 teams and I've locked in for those 4 teams for life, not saying they're over, but it's far more flexible these days than it once was.